Today we're talking House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 2. Welcome to Screens in Focus. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Hi, Sam. How's it going?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm really good.
I'm so
Okay,
excited.
I know. We
Mhm.
were just talking before I pressed record about Game of Thrones, how you're going to do a rewatch, but then we're thinking about, how that's going to spoil things,
Yep. Because
things
like
that
I,
we've forgotten. Yeah,
hmm
go ahead.
and I just don't want to like do that because I want to enjoy this for what it is, and then I'm gonna spend the next probably like 2 to 3 years just watching all of that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
love
so
it.
good.
Well, and I think I told you that I'm watching Breaking Bad again.
hmm
And it's a slow watch. Like we watch a couple episodes every time we get some time, just like we did with The Walking Dead. It's like, oh, let's rewatch The Walking Dead for the umpteenth time. And then now because my husband hasn't seen Breaking Bad, so he's watching it for the first time.
hmm
And you've watched it, right?
No,
Oh,
it's on my list. I have a long list of shows I have to watch. I know.
I almost said something, so I'm glad I didn't divulge
Oh,
it.
I've probably heard all the spoilers.
Yeah.
That does not ruin a show for me if I happen to listen, because
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but I want to see how we get there, you
Yes,
know?
exactly. Also, even how something plays out, just like in this, we there are things in Game of Thrones that tell us what's happening here, but still we want to see how it plays out. Does it play the same, and who does it, what their faces look like, what's happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love all that. All right, we are going to get to this episode though because it was pretty devastating. And Emma Darcy delivered an all-time performance. Incredible. I heard so many people online are like, give her the Emmy right now.
hmm
There were battles and dragons, and this episode had so much grief and vengeance, and finally seeing Rhaenyra claim what she's been fighting for. But before we get to all of that, we are going to pose our question of the day to you, to me, to friends out there. And that is, has a setback or loss ever pushed you to take action that led to something better? Okay, so we're going to all sit with that and think about it and answer it later on. But we have to get to Team Black, Rhaenyra's journey. That opening scene absolutely just broke my heart like everybody else. If we had watched it collectively all at the same time, can you imagine what that would have been like and felt like? But Sam, I want you to walk me through what stood out to you because there was so much happening beneath the surface.
So first of all, I love that we pick up like as soon as like the other episode has like ended. Like we look up and there like is Jace's body, and it was such a beautiful opening. It was peaceful but oh so eerie. And I feel like the fighting is over, so now we're going to see like all the consequences, but
Mm-hmm.
one thing I did not realize that as they're like flying back to Dragonstone, that Bebela had collected Jace's body and she had
Yeah.
him like like over the back of Moondancer, and I think I was just so like just caught up in everything else that I just completely missed it. It made me really sad because you could see how sad and upset like that made her.
I didn't notice it till the second watch.
Same.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, how did his body get there?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
magic. I just assumed that
Yeah.
like it was on the back of something else, I guess. But um I realized I was like, oh, I knew that we were gonna have to see Rhaenyra's reaction, and I was dreading it like a
Yeah.
lot because we you never want to. It's just the whole thing is super sad. And I was very on. I thought she deserved to be mad at everybody in that room
I
because
love that.
everybody was
Yeah.
complicit, and they let the crown prince like take over from the queen, and like as a result he died, and we don't know what would have happened if she had gone instead, but I don't know, it just wouldn't have ended up with him dying. And I think you never want to see like a parent like having to bury their kid, and she's had to bury three of her
Yeah.
kids actually,
Three.
three of
Yeah.
them. She's grieving completely differently from the death of Luke than she is for the death of Jace. And I think it's just because she's so emotionally exhausted at this point that I think she's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, you can see like as she's walking over, I think she's very quickly going through all the stages of grief. Like she's like, no, or like, hey, what are you doing, or whatever. And it's like she doesn't accept it. And then when she gets over to him, that's when I think she's accepted it. But my heart just broke for her because, like, she's shouting, "What have you done?" And that at first you're like, "What do you mean?" It's hard to say what you would do or say when you're grieving
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It only has to make sense to you.
I was just going to say at that point, we saw all the levels of grief that she was going through. It was a progression of emotion. First, it's denial, and then it's anger, and then it's like, then it's, I don't know if it's acceptance, but acceptance of that he is dead, and that, then she's crying over him. And, being a mom of boys, I was like, oh, tears were flooding down my face. I'm sure everybody was, even whether you have kids or not. But in my position, that's what, I was thinking about, just being so choked up, so emotional. When she had her hands like this up
Mm-hmm.
her, and she couldn't like do anything because she just didn't know what to do. Oh my gosh, I felt that
Mm-hmm.
so hard. And also, you had talked about the death of her other kids and this one, her reaction. It's of everything, because in that moment, it's the grief of this child, but it's also the grief of your other children, because
Mm-hmm.
it's all together. It's like you can only take so much, and it just keeps mounting and mounting. So, um, I don't know that anyone's saying that, but it's not just, oh, why is she reacting this way and not to us? And that's not how it goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are dealing with all of it, and it's just another loss that you have. It was heartbreaking to watch.
Mm-hmm. And then like a little bit like down the line in the episode, so Daemon, when he enters her room, we see that her hair is down, but it's very wavy, and normally it's like poker straight. So she just like undid her braid and like went to bed, which is, I don't think, like her. And so it just like, I think it goes to show how she is just not okay, which obviously who would be, but like she's just not thinking, she's just grieving. And like in that scene, he convinces her to that they have that, like, yes, you have to grieve your son, but there's a bigger
Mm.
like thing at hand here, and you have to just kind of like push it down for now and you can deal with it later. And she doesn't really want to do it until he brings up, he sees like in the future, he's like, I saw her in the desert, I saw a girl with 3 dragons, and that like reminds her of what her dad taught her. And she doesn't look, whenever we see her again, she's now in her like her riding outfit,
Yes,
but she
yes.
still doesn't look good. Like her eyes, she's clearly been crying. But I think I don't know, it makes her look a little more tough or something, like a
Yeah.
little more of like a
Mm-hmm.
feral animal, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
liked that.
Yeah.
When she goes in to tell her council where she's going, they protest. They're like, "No, that's dumb. Don't do it." But they do kind of listen whenever, like, because Daemon will chime in with like, basically like being like, "We're going anyway." It's like I loved him for that. Um, and we'll talk about this probably a ton throughout this whole episode, but I cannot believe she had to kill Otto.
Oh, yeah.
What? Like, I was ready for her to kill Aegon, even though I knew that wasn't, that he had
Yeah.
left, but I was like, oh, she'll get him or something. I did not think he was gonna pop up in this episode the way that he did, and
I
I'm
didn't either. I was
no
shocked. I was
shocked.
shocked. Even though we had talked about it last episode as being something that we were looking forward to seeing. Oh, what's happening with him? Where is he? I had no
Mm-mm.
idea he was down there,
I
right? That
and
they
I
kept him there.
Sorry. And yeah, and I honestly didn't think that we would get like a resolution in 2 episodes. And maybe that's just like my Game of Thrones trauma, where things just, like, your boy ends up in a boat and he shows up
Yeah.
4 seasons later still
Yeah.
rowing that boat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was a fun scene, which we'll talk about later. But I yeah, so she has to kill him, and it's the worst. So for someone who hasn't really like ever like held a sword in like a real way ever
Uh-huh.
before, she
Uh-huh.
got him in 2 swipes, which is brutal to Otto, but I mean it's not that bad. And but the shock and horror like on her face, because I'm pretty sure she just like swung and like closed her eyes and just like, hope for the best. And it was terrifying, like horrifying. Like
Yeah.
I felt it. And then like Otto's mumbling, but it was just Oh, and like, of all people, but
Well, and he knew he had it coming,
uh-huh.
and when he put his neck down and they showed his neck, I mean,
Oh,
who knew that moments like that would resonate, or just give you that feeling like, "Oh
yeah.
my gosh, she really knows, and this is how he's gonna go out."
Mhm.
It was crazy.
It was crazy, and I feel like he, on like one hand, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I do, as much as he's a bad, he worked against Team Black so much. I do like him as a
Oh,
character.
uh-huh.
Like, I think he's a great character. I love the way he played his role. And there was a sense of honor even through his performances all the way through. Like, he had some sense, like even when he was talking to Aegon and when he was like letting him go of his duties, just all of that, it's like he had this, even though he crossed the line so many times and did things, he still had some sort of honor of the way that he did things. So, and I think that was with him going out too. He's like, okay, this is how I'm going to go out. I'm ready to go out. This is how it's going to be.
Yeah. I do think because he doesn't like Rhaenyra at all, and I think he asked for Daemon to do it because one, it'd be quicker and he'd be dead before he knew it, and two, he wanted to get like a dig in at her. I think at least that's how it felt to me.
Mm,
Because I feel like he was just like he talked about her dad and she yelled at him for that. So I think he's just getting any barb he can.
yeah. Oh yeah. If your dad could or whatever, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well,
Ugh,
it wouldn't be on
sir.
your side, buddy.
Yeah. And what if your dad could see you,
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Honorable? And after she's done, she walks like directly into the blood. Well, it's like
Mhm.
spilling out, so she can't avoid it really. And the bloody footprints, like as she's walking up to the throne, is just like not a good omen. It's like it symbolizes all the people that had to die for her to get here, all the people that will die. It's just, and she just looked like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders, which I think that's very, I think it's common for people who are kings or queens, but I think there's a little bit extra with her. Do you do you know of like the lore that if a king or queen gets cut by the throne, by a sword on the throne, that's the throne rejecting them?
I don't know if I know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's just this like lore thing. If you get cut by the throne, then you're not meant to be king or queen. And Viserys, like, he gets cut, and that eventually like leads to his downfall because he gets like, not, it's not grayscale, but it's something.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I was going to say, it sounds vaguely familiar. I'm like, do
Mm,
we see something of this? Okay, so this is probably where I did get
yeah.
inklings of it, but I wouldn't have recalled it.
Hmm.
So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, so I was trying to pay attention like in the episode to see like if Rhaenyra got cut,
Yeah.
but I think they would probably like zoom in on it because they definitely
Right.
do it like whenever Viserys gets cut. And I don't think it's like the first time they like sit down or anything because I like he was king for a while before like we saw him get cut, but mhm.
I was just going to say the look on her face when she got there, it was such a good look. Such a good look for her, but such a hard road journey to get there, and it's like becoming queen at this unimaginable cost, and she finally gets to sit there, and it's like a victory that is we've all been she's been waiting for years, but it's at the loss of so many people, of her
Mhm.
kids and so much more. So um and I think that's why it felt so good. I mean, people are saying this is like the best episode ever,
it,
I mean,
it was
people.
really good. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how like you can find maybe like a few faults, but I don't think you can find a ton of faults. And
Right.
normally like I'm, you know me, I'm like super critical about a lot of things. But
I don't think you are, but I'm sure. Okay.
I
But
maybe I'm
yeah.
not, but I think for me, I feel very like because I don't do this stuff, so I'm like, how can I critique them? You know?
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are just loving this episode, loving her performance, loving that, they just are team black all the way. And so I think I think everybody felt such satisfaction and just finally, I mean, it was so good. That's why it's so good to all of us, right? Because it's something we all wanted. But getting there was with the help of Daemon. And I had said last episode, I want to see more Daemon in this episode. And we definitely got it. He was full warrior mode. What did you think of him this week?
I loved him. Like, I thought he was having an absolute blast this episode. One, he opens up with a party with the Winter Wolves, and he gets to sing his heart out and talk a bunch of crap about the people that they've killed.
Yeah.
And then and then at some point they arrive at King's Landing, he gets to take down a bunch of like Hightower men, and he's just been like waiting to do this. And like my number one thing is he finally gets Otto, because those two have been like at each other's throats since like the start of the show.
Yeah.
And I loved what he said. Well, hold on, I'm gonna back up for a second. What was that man? Was he just like the guy who comes out of like the shadows and he's talking to Daemon, and he's like, I have a present for you from Lord Larys. Did that man come out of nowhere? He just like walked out of like you just hear a voice and you look over and there's a creepy man. I jumped. I was like, sir. And I mean, I guess it's different because I'm not a 6'5" big tall man with a sword, but I wouldn't follow him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gets like he gets like a prize at the end of the tunnel, and it's Otto, and he's so excited. And then he brings him up to like the throne room, and he says the rats in the black cells have grown uncommon big, and he's like laughing. It's like, I love this.
Did you know it was him in the cell?
No, but as soon as the guy was like, there's a present, I was like, oh, it's Otto. Because there's like no other
you did know.
I didn't. Well, I didn't. I was trying to think of like what could be there for him that would make him excited, and I was like, the only thing that's like unaccounted for is Otto. So it was really just like a process of elimination. How do you feel about that? Like that he got like he's just been beneath beneath a King's Landing this whole time.
That's what I'm saying. I was totally shocked. I had no idea. I thought he was gone somewhere. I thought I don't know where he went.
He leaves, and then he gets like kidnapped, and you don't know who kidnaps him.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah, I think like it happens in between like a bunch of other more exciting stuff, I think. So yeah, so he gets like kidnapped at the end of season 2.
Okay, but who's kidnapping him and putting him back down there?
Larys.
Oh, it was Larys.
Yeah, it was Larys. Yeah, he says that this is a present from Lord Larys.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, thank you for putting all the pieces together.
That's what I'm here for.
I know, I love it.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, as you say it, then I recall it. But
yeah.
I love it.
And then as like a cherry on the Sunday for Daemon, he gets to behead a person, and it's Jasper. So he's like, he just like skips over there. He takes like a running like start. It was really funny. I love Daemon. He's a problematic fave though, because he's like, but why do we forgive him? Is it because like
because he's Team Black.
Because
of Rhaenyra. Yes. Yeah. Really? That's why.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
I love that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I love that we got to see Caraxes drinking water. I literally was like, oh! It was so cute. They just have like a personality.
Yeah.
But so then after I got over all that, we get to the conversation between Alice and Daemon, and he doesn't handle it well.
Oh.
He denies her a castle because he doesn't think she's earned it, but she's done a ton. That I don't know that he realizes that like she killed like the old man who was Tully, the old man Tully, so Oscar could be like the new lord. She also convinced him to like join the right side and not stage a coup and support his wife and other things, I'm sure. But she wants the castle because she wants all like the blood magic and stuff, and she wants to be real witchy in the basement. Um, and I think he will probably for sure ignore Alice and head back to Harrenhal as soon as he learns about what Aemon did to Simon Strong. I didn't like Aemon before this, but something about him killing my Bubba, he was just like such like a jolly old man, and he gives the Winterwolves wine, and I just, ugh. But I don't want him to go back because bad stuff will happen probably. So then he gets back to Dragonstone, and he gets to talk to Mysaria like at some point, and he's acting all like, it's a good conversation though.
Yeah, it is.
They have two at least, but he's acting all like high and mighty with her, saying like, I forget exactly what they were like talking about, but he was like, that's my wife. Dude, you were about to stage a coup about 2 seconds ago, so like, you don't get to take the high road here, buddy. But it's easy to forget that those two, they have like a really long history. And I think it's easy to forget because like she's like a different, like she wasn't like the white worm that she is now. I mean, she was his companion, and I don't know, so I think it's just easy to forget. But I also think that she's 100% correct whenever she says that Alicent and Rhaenyra have a bond. Those two were like childhood like best friends, so it's like I think they still both want to believe that the other person is good, I think. And then she kind of like updates him on like the name of the dragon, and he promises to kill whoever is responsible for killing Jace, aka whoever was writing Sheepstealer. So that's going to be interesting.
Yes, that's going to be interesting. Go ahead.
I'm nervous because I mean she's supposed to like go off and not be at the Vale, but I feel like it was not going to be hard to find a dragon. It's just not. They're huge, you know? But I feel like, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, she could ask Bela, right? Who was writing. Would she divulge that? You know?
I don't know. Is
that going to cause a problem? Other people probably saw it. Not just, you know.
Who though? Like, I don't think anyone else would know who she was because she's not really been around.
Wouldn't Corlys have seen? Well, he wouldn't say
he was
either,
in the water. No, but he was in the water at that point.
Or any of them. I'm sure they saw dragons. So like, who's this rogue dragon up there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but I know who that person is.
I don't think I think it'd be extremely hard to see. Like the person up there.
Maybe. Yeah.
I feel like, but I also feel like this is a thing that like, I'm not saying you got to forgive her, but you don't have to kill her over this.
Oh,
like,
I would hope so too, because it's not something that she was trying to do purposely at all. But I just don't know how it's going to sit, because does your negligence, stop you from, paying the price? That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to see what happens. Maybe somehow she'll make up for. I mean, not that she could ever make up for somebody's death, but meaning that she didn't mean that to happen. She wasn't trying to make that happen.
Yep.
It's the dragon that was there. And it was just a mess. It was such a mess. And I just hope that, I don't know, but okay, we have so much to talk about, right? Let's finish Daemon. Okay. Then we'll talk about her in a minute. We'll talk about her shortly, but I did want to wrap up Daemon because I did want to say how much I wanted to see him back in warrior mode. And man, when he came in and he got those like 5 or 7 people he was fighting, is like and then it's him and Rhaenyra, and she takes out her sword and they're like up against everybody. And I'm like, oh my God. Oof. And then here comes the backup, right? I was like, and when they first came in, I'm like, no, you've got them on both sides. What is going to happen here? I was worried. I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because I kept thinking, why is it just the two of them? How are the two of them ever going to face like an army of people? I don't understand how they thought that they were going to be okay with just the two of them.
Well, so I think they were expecting Alicent to be able to like persuade people. That's my assumption. And I think like that's That's kind of
Well,
silly. That's
she
kind of
kind of
silly.
said, I'm going to just leave the gates open for you. That's all that she basically said. But
Yeah.
I just felt
Maybe they
like
didn't have anybody.
they should have had at least another person or two right with them, but I mean it played better with just the two of them. But honestly, I'm thinking really that you have the queen and yourself and you're going to fight everybody off. I mean, yes, he did it very well and I loved seeing him. I mean, he's freaking badass, right? He's a
Yep.
warrior and we love seeing him like that. I mean, he was so confident, he was so decisive, and he's just like leading. And so I just appreciated that about him. And his reunion with him when they both like held hands together, I thought that was just a really cool moment.
Yeah.
But he's still flawed. He's still
Ooh.
flawed. All the conversations that you said earlier, it makes me worried because he's still, even at his best, he still has blind spots with Alice and with Ulf also, because he's just like yelling at everybody, right? Or putting them in their place or just saying what he feels. He has no filter. And so I'm just wondering how that's gonna come to be later on.
I hope he always stays as he is because
Really?
I
Oh,
do.
drives me
I
crazy.
know, but I feel like he's just like, he just is who he is. Like he's not trying to like put on airs or anything. I don't know. He's a goof and I just like him.
Well, I don't think they should have left. And when Damon tells him, so you just left, you just waited 2 days and then you just left.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, that's not.
they were on, I think they were listening to Alice who said you should go.
Yeah, but I mean,
She's a
Alice shouldn't
witch.
have. Yeah, but I know. But still,
I
she's not
know.
the queen. The queen and everybody told him to stay there.
Yeah,
So,
but maybe like
um,
their thinking was if stuff starts to get bad, it's just like a hop, skip, and a jump. It's
yeah,
pretty quick. I mean, they should. If they were there, maybe Lord Strong wouldn't have died.
true, right? Because there was nothing there to protect any of them. Now, mind you, they were supposed to wait for Vagar, and Vagar did end up coming. So I don't know. But what I was going to say about Ulf, I just don't know that he's very loyal, and that's the thing that worries me about him. So that's my only worry. If he's loyal and is the way he is, then that's fine. But if he's not loyal, then I'm like, I don't know if I trust you very much. So I don't know. We'll have to see where he ends up landing in this season. But let's talk about the Greens because there's Alicent, there's Aegon, there's Aemond. They all have uh, different things happening to each of them. So, what stood out to you the most about any of them this episode?
So I think for Allison, I think this episode just it makes me sad because she tried so hard to make everything work, and she was so close. But it's like, who can she trust? And like, she certainly can't trust like her bodyguard because he tells on her. Um, and she really is just trying to keep like Helaena safe. And I think she might be the sweetest green ever. And I want to
Yeah.
protect her like so much. I loved whenever they were telling the people who were controlling the scorpions to like put them down or whatever. And she was like, I won't have any beasts harmed. Then she looks at her mom like I did good, right? So sweet. And then I don't know if they're walking away from like that scene, but it's a different scene. And she's talking. She starts to list off the people, everyone who was complicit with helping Alicent to put Aegon on the throne. She's just like, well, it was my grandsire, it was my brother, all this stuff. It was like really cute. Um, and I absolutely hated what happened with Lord
Oh,
Jasper. I
yeah.
That came out of left field for me, and I don't think the beheading's enough. But I was really happy that the Maester Orwyle, who I definitely misspoke last week. I can't remember what I called him, but it wasn't that. Um, I was just happy that he like stepped in and he was like, it doesn't really matter where she was like an hour ago. I know what happened in front of me.
Yeah.
Um, but he definitely knows that she's done some things. But I hope he agrees and is like being like truthful.
I think he is.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is. But
Did
that was a hard moment. I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, please, please don't, please don't, please don't. I was so glad that he walked in when he did, and even had uh, that much, I don't know if it's respect or whatever, to stop. I mean, they could have just taken him out and done something. He's not a warrior or a fighter or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
So I'm glad that he was able to step in and support her in that moment, because I was worried about her. And yeah, she really did put herself on the line for Rhaenyra here, and
Mm-hmm.
staying true and being loyal to whatever she said and getting Aemond out of, I mean, all of that was a lot. And I kept thinking she was going to be found out. The fact that she went to all those different people and convinced them, I thought that was huge for them to listen to her. It almost made me feel like people were on the verge anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you so easily just go along? Not all of them did, but a lot of them did,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they're like, okay, okay,
Sounds
we'll go
good.
along with it. But can I say, I'm going to bring up a moment that I'm curious about at the end when she does walk in and see her father's head there. My thought is, she's looking and she looks at Rhaenyra, and Rhaenyra looks at her. What was your thought in that moment? What do you think do you think she's thinking, oh my God, what have you done? Or is she just thinking, oh my God, it's my father, but you had to do what you had to do? I don't know.
I think she's very confused because I don't think she knew that her dad was supposed to be in Old Town, and so she's probably very confused how he ended up here. So that's probably like the first thing. And then I definitely think she probably isn't. I don't know. Like I would love for her to not be okay with her dad being dead and how it went down, but understanding that it had to be done. I feel like that's a good place to be. Cause
Well,
cause I feel like Aegon wasn't here and you didn't tell her that. So like it's like she had to do something. It's not like she wanted to do this, you know?
I
She didn't.
agree. Yeah. I, well, the thing that comes to my mind is, yes, it's your father. Yes, you don't want him dead, but isn't that better than your son? You know, if you had to protect your son or your father's an older man. Yes, you care for him, love him, but this is your son, and you were going to give up your son. Your son. That's crazy to me. So to me, it feels like better that it's father than it is son.
Hmm.
I would imagine the being a grandfather would want that too, if you had it,
Yeah.
any morality or anything else. So I think I will be a little bit shocked if she has a different take, and I'm really curious to see, because it ended on that note, and it's like, oh, what is this? Was she like, oh my God, look what you did, this is not what I planned? Or is it like, uh ah I hate what you did, but I get why
Hmm.
you had to do it, which is
Yeah.
what I'm hoping her reaction will be.
She's
Yeah.
just had like a day though, because the thing happened with Lord Jasper, and I feel like
Ah, yeah,
it's just like another thing that is out of her control. Like all this stuff just keeps happening to her, and she just keeps
yeah,
getting like more like pushed aside.
yeah.
Um, and it just made me like really sad. Speaking of Aegon though, what is what is Laris up to with him? Because Laris is like too calm, cool, and collected for like all of this.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't realize how close they were to the sea because they're like the caravan like ended up running into the Triarchy, um, which I think it was Laris. He's in the middle of talking. He's like, "I'll be surprised if." Then he opens the door and it's like a pirate, and he's like, "I am surprised." And I think for him that's probably like a rarity because I don't think he's always like 12 steps ahead of everybody. But I thought it was I don't strange because Aegon he's very like impulsive. I thought it was very strange that he demands to walk to Rook's Rest, and I'm just like, how is this going to backfire? Because like Sir Gawain and Sir Kristen they're on their way out, and it's not like it's a like they can like it's going to take them a while to get there, so they're going to end up in like a glen, I think. It's going to be all empty. There's not going to be anybody there. And then what are they going to do?
Thought, man, is it convenient that this happened that you get away? I thought, because I'm like, really? I don't know. I guess that happens a lot. Maybe traveling on the road,
Yeah.
you different battles and people rob you or battle you or whatever it might be. But I was a little bit like, oh, this is too convenient that everybody's fighting and you guys get to escape. So
I'm still
yeah,
not convinced that this isn't part of a plan that
Laris.
because it was convenient that he had the crown. Why would you bring that? And
Yeah,
then I know he conveniently explained that he said he gave up his identity because it was going to save them, but I don't know. I feel like he gave it up a little too easily. Like, oh, this Aegon, I don't know. And like I said, he's just too cool, calm, and collected for me.
yeah, he is. But wasn't it the triarchy that came up upon them? That's what I had read.
Well,
And if it is, he couldn't
in
have planned
season
that.
in episode 1, they get captured by people from Rook's Rest, and then they're on their way to
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Was that it?
Yeah,
Is
because
that all?
I was just saying I think the triarchy wasn't anything planned, but
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
saying
yeah,
it wasn't that part. It was
yeah,
them
yeah,
getting captured. All right. Did you want to say anything about Aemond? Let's talk about
yeah.
Aemond.
Aemond. Ugh, this little shit.
I
I
agree too. Little shit.
and I
Go
don't
ahead.
know why. I think I'm naive a lot whenever I don't want someone bad to do bad stuff. I'm like, no, this will be different this time. He will change. Because I was shocked whenever he just started to burn everything and everybody. I think I don't know. It seemed like his dragon Vagar was having a time. She was just
I know.
doing everybody just on her
Yeah.
own. He didn't need to tell her
Yeah.
to do anything. But I did think he was a little bit of a badass, kind of like tearing through the castle. He's Daemon light.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
and I,
That's so funny.
I, I hated. Well, how long were they at this table? Did they hear what was happening outside, or they just eating their dinner and just didn't hear a lick of anything? But as soon as Simon had got up, I was like, "This is not going to end well. Please sit back down." He was trying to tame him like he did with Daemon, but Daemon has years of experience. I feel like if it was a Daemon 20 years ago, maybe not, but Daemon's older and he has a change of, he was going to, but he didn't.
I feel like Eamon has more to he feels like he has so much more to prove.
Yep. Yep. I was really happy I'm going to assume it was a son. I'm
That
glad
got him, got Eamon
yes, I was so excited and I was like, well, at least he got him a jab.
a
That'll
jab in. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he hit some
Kept
major.
going.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so good. But I'm really mad that Alice is mad at Daemon because I feel like now she's going to help Aemon, and I'm not happy about it.
I know. That was exactly my feeling too. I'm like, oh my God. Woo. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have the same feelings as you on all that. I just feel like the green are splintering for sure. I mean, yeah, we have Aegon escaping. Aemon is doing his thing. Loras is manipulating events, and they are no longer operating as a united front, which it's not going to work when you can't do that, which is good for us. I like it.
I mean, we're Team Black, so
Exactly. All right, I want to get to the Velaryons. I'm so glad for them because finally we get to see, even though there was devastation, we were so happy. We knew Corlys was going to be found, and just how they were reacting to each other as a family. What did you think about all of them?
it was such a touching moment. At the end of that scene when they're all just kind of hanging out, it was really sweet, I thought. But I'm also just really happy that we found him in the very next episode because I was afraid it was going to take a while and I didn't really want to have to worry about him, even though we talked about him coming back, we knew he was coming back, but still, you never know. And I feel the most for Bela, because she's having to do a lot, like, and she's running on fumes. She's trying to help Alyn understand why, like, his dad is the way that he is,
Mm-hmm.
and not really excusing any of it, but just offering like explanations. And she's just really sweet. And I thought it was like, I thought it was funny that like Ulf's like, well, Addam left too. He's like tattling. But I thought it was sweet that he left his post and went to help to find his dad. And
Oh,
so sweet.
yeah.
Um, and it's kind of, but it's also like a sad moment too, because Corlys, he realizes that he's lost a ton of stuff that he loved, his wife, both of his like his kids, and like his treasures, but he's also gained like two sons and his granddaughters there, and I'm hoping that they'll be like a really tight unit.
Yeah, I think all I really wanted to say with all of them was that finally all of them reuniting. I thought that that was pretty cool. It was a rare emotional family moment, and I'm trying to figure out the right word to legitimize his sons is I talked about it last episode, and it's here too, means so much, because there is a moment when Corlys says, if this is victory, I hope I don't see another. And when Alyn says, you recognizing me as your son is just all the treasure that I need. This is bigger, more than gold, or something to that
Mm-hmm.
effect. And it really is, because that's all any son ever wants, or daughter or child or whatever it is. They just want to be recognized. So but it is going to be hard moving forward, because now all the ships and where he lives is devastated. Like, how is what's going, is he going to help fight on land? Like, what is going to be the next step? So because boats aren't that easy to build that fast.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
they can just purchase some, if there's some people working over there and you can just go buy them. I don't know. I just wonder how that's going to um, how that's going to move forward. I'm glad that they're together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that at least they are united, right? Because I was just saying how Green is all splintered. And so here we do see them together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
you
okay, go
you
ahead.
had brought up how Alyn had said he just like the only thing that is important to him is a name. That's exactly how Corlys felt whenever they were talking about trying to marry Rhaenyra to Laenor, and they were like negotiating, or I'm sorry, they were talking about the legitimacy of her kids with him, and
Yeah.
he said all history will remember is like their name. It doesn't really matter where they
Ah,
came from.
yeah.
So it's funny that
Yeah.
he can look at it like that, but not look at at his sons
Right.
like that
Right.
until he had nothing left, which is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. There are some side characters and some dragons here that are really important. So I want to know what stood out to you from the side
Mm-hmm.
characters, the dragons, the dragon seeds, Rhaena, this episode. What did you think?
I want to talk about Rhaena and Lady Arryn. Well, I don't know why she went back to the Vale. I thought she was going to go off someplace else. I thought she was honestly going to go back to Dragonstone. I know, like, we found out like what she did at the end, but like I don't know. I don't know why she'd go back there. And then she offered her protection, and I'm like, girl, you can't even control that dragon, and like people will need protection from you. But I did think it was nice of Lady Arryn to allow her to stay, but she tells her that she doesn't want to see her like ever again. And I don't know what her plan is. I guess she'll just go find like an empty house or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like her part of the story is just like really unknown at this point.
It is unknown. It's so intriguing too. And you have Sheepstealer in the
Mm-hmm.
background just looking on, which I found interesting too.
Yeah. And I think that she really needs to figure out like a way to get him like to listen to her. So what happened at the Battle of the Gullet will never happen again.
Yeah.
I was happy that we only saw Sir Kristen and Gwaine for like a second. Um, they
Yeah.
saw they saw Aemond fly over and
Yeah.
decided to
Yeah.
make for Harrenhal,
Yeah.
which, like I said earlier, about how they're not going to be there whenever Aegon and Laris arrive, probably.
I'm like, okay, whatever. We're going to see more of them though. We are going to
I
see more of
know.
them. I just wonder when that's going to be. I think the people that stood out to me was Grandmaster Orwild, because, and we talked about him, but he quietly proves his integrity again. He protects Alicent and adapts to survive without coming across as this power hungry person. I don't know. He's just kind of shining for me. I really like him. And like twice somebody's almost, cut off his neck. So
Can't catch a
he's,
break.
yeah. So I'm glad that he survived again. And I hope he keeps surviving, because I think I like him, right?
Mhm.
I don't remember what he did previous to this, but I just know what I've seen of him lately. I appreciate him.
I think he helped Aegon to escape. I think he had like helped him. I think
Yeah.
because
He
I
seems
think he.
very helpful, but
Mhm. He's
I
very
think he just
kind.
doesn't want. Yeah, yeah. I think it's just being kind, though. I don't know that it's like this is my side and this is my side. No,
No,
I think he's just being,
a
uh,
good person.
yeah, a good person. That's what I think he's being. So we'll see. And I kind of felt bad for Sir Laurent here.
No.
Um, no, not at all.
Uh-uh.
I felt a little bit bad for him. Like, I think that everything he did was right, but he wasn't doing it to, it's like Jace convinced him why he needed to do it, right? Oh, you're supposed to protect the queen, and isn't that what you want? And so he's all, damn, am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed that's not good to waver. I get that. I get all of that. I just don't think I don't think he's a bad person. I
Oh
just didn't think he was
no.
a bad person.
Mm-mm.
And even though when he says, he'll die, go ahead. And she says, what good would that would do me? I'd have to kill everybody, because nobody did what, everybody defied me, what I wanted. But then later on, she says something to the effect of let him pick his way of death. So I think he's still going to die. And I don't know. I'm just like,
He could say
can't they
old
just be
age.
demoted? Could you just be demoted to
Yeah.
something else? I don't
Or
know.
banished or something.
Yeah.
Like he could go off to Pentos. He'd be fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just like, and then Helaena, you had brought her up earlier, and she just continues to say things to me that could be proved to be significant later on. Her calmness amid chaos makes her scene stand out even more so. And yeah, I already talked about Corlys. So
Mm-hmm.
and that line that he said, which I thought was really important about victory, and I hope I never see another one. There were some themes going on in here, but zooming out, were there themes that you felt were driving the episode?
Mm-hmm. One that stood out for me a ton was the illusion of control. Because I feel like, and it can be applied to almost everybody in this episode. Both Alicent and Rhaenyra think they're going to be able to control their situation, and Rhaenyra thinks King's Landing will finally give her what she was born to do and what she's been like fighting for. And Otto for some time has thought he'd be able to control his like the succession. Um,
Yeah.
and for Aemon, he thinks people being afraid of him gives him control, but it really doesn't, because now he's isolated and he's by himself. So that's what it does. And almost like every plan unravels because people are super emotional and very unpredictable. Um, and then like the cost of power was another one. How everyone wants the throne until they actually have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, she's going to lose not all her children, but she's lost what, three children.
Mm-hmm.
Alicent has lost she's losing her family in one
Mm-hmm.
way or another. Otto loses everything he spent his life, that he's been the hand of it to three kings. He's not that old, so he's been doing it forever. And I think I talked about Aemon being like really isolated, but that's the cost of power too.
Yeah.
And I think this episode it really does just ask like, is power ever worth what it demands?
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, I saw a preview, and Alicent's gonna bring that up. And speaking of Alicent, I feel like another big one for me was being a mom versus being like a ruler. And this is brought up throughout like almost like all the seasons, but both of the queens in this episode are like torn between being mom and then try to be like a political leader. Rhaenyra is trying to grieve Jace, really both her sons, her unborn daughter, her father, and Harwin. Because like it's only been maybe Harwin's not in there, but it's only been like I don't it hasn't been all that long since her dad died. And so then she also has to always be continuing the war and trying to keep things at bay and then try to make battle plans and all this stuff. And Alicent's really trying to protect Helaena while also trying to deal with Aegon and Aemond, who are making crazy decisions. And at that point, like they haven't been able to just be a mom in forever, and everything that they do has a political consequence, and it's tough because they all just like treat these women like they can't do anything just because they're a mom because they have emotions, and it's like it's fine. It just breaks my heart.
Those are really good themes. There's so many themes running through all of this. I saw loss, vengeance, and the cost of war, which is basically a lot of what you had brought up. But I think loss fuels vengeance in this episode. But for Rhaenyra, also something that's she's been playing the long game. And both sides have been fighting and waiting and taking hit after hit and finally reaching a breaking point. And even with characters like Corlys, you see someone who has lost so much and still saying, if this is victory, doesn't want it again. And so, and for Rhaenyra, she finally gets to the throne, and it really makes you question at what cost. And we get to see it. So, because so many times we see, whoever is the king at the time or whoever is ruling, but we don't see all the moments, that it took to get there. And for us, we are seeing what it is taking for Rhaenyra to get there and how much she has lost and how much she has to fight. And just even amongst her own family, right? And other people, and Daemon and Jace and other people advising her. And so it's just been a long time coming. All right. We are going to get to our rapid fire. So I am going to ask you 5 questions, Sam, and you are going to give me your gut initial reaction on these. Okay. What was the biggest shock of the episode?
I think it was the restraint that was shown by Daemon, because he definitely probably really wanted to kill Otto, but he lets like his wife do it. He lets Rhaenyra do it, and I feel like I don't think like a younger him would have allowed that.
Ah, that's good. I like that. For me, it's Otto.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Otto was even going to pop up in this episode. I was shocked he was down there in the cell. I was shocked that they brought him up. I was shocked that Rhaenyra had to do what she had to do. It was a very cool moment, though, but I was still shocked. All right. Was there a misstep in this episode, and what was it?
I think it might have been Alicent for thinking that she'd be able to avoid somebody in her family dying. Because I feel like she left the castle knowing that Rhaenyra wasn't going to find her, and like the look on her face. But I do think it was the shock of her dad just being there, one. But I also think it, like, the look of like betrayal was also on her face. Like when she looks at Rhaenyra, it's like, how could you do this? You know? And I'm like, girl, like I know it's, oh, I think, yeah.
I love that one. That is such a good one. All right. Mine is, I think Damon's biggest misstep was the way he treated Alice and Ulf. He won the battle, but I'm not convinced he's winning over the people who may matter most later on.
That's so good.
So we're going to see how this pans out for them. All right. What specific look, line, or moment hit you the hardest?
Was whenever Rhaenyra was like, she was welling, "What have you done?" at Jace. It hits me in the heart every time I watch that, or like every time I did watch it.
I wrote down, "What have you done?" cries Rhaenyra.
Yes, it hit so hard.
I was crying, like they were like flooding down my face. It was so emotional. I mean, she had like snot running down her face, or
There
and
were two scenes
or
where she had
or
snot.
yeah, was it snot and also
Yeah.
like saliva or something? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was just like a mess. And I thought I had read somewhere that they filmed like all day or 10 hours over and over again. And I think it was Jace, the actor who plays Jace, because it was really him in that scene. And they were
Oh.
going to put padding on him when she like is pounding on him. And he's all, no, I want this to be real. But he said that every take she brought it. Like the very last take that they did was the same emotion as the first take. So just so you know, she was bringing it the entire day. And I'm like, I can't even imagine when I was watching that scene unfold. It was like, I couldn't believe how real it felt and how we were all there, right there with her. So it was just a heartbreaking scene. I can see why everybody loves it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Watching her through this episode. Okay, what impacted you most visually this episode?
I think it would have to be the bloody footsteps that were leading up, like up to the throne. And then if I could have like a runner up, I would say would how I would say it'd have to be how beautiful it looked from under the sea, and like above was just like a
Oh,
bunch of
yeah,
dragon fire. So it was like really
yeah,
pretty. Kind of
yeah,
like looked like ice a little bit. So it could
yeah,
have been like ice and fire, you know?
yeah. Those are good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I would say at first something that visually caught my attention, the seeing the dragons fly over King's Landing and just watching them soar over. I just thought it was beautiful. It was a beautiful scene. I loved watching them. I thought it was very cool. But I also equally agree with you about the moment um, with Rhaenyra having to do what she did to Otto and then walking through and stepping up and turning around and the look on her face as to finally getting there. I just thought that that was like, oh my gosh, this is a moment that we're all witnessing here. So I thought it was pretty cool. Um, what is one prediction or hope you have for the next episode?
I hope we get to see what happens at Harrenhal and the fallout from that. And I hope that we don't, and I hope Damon will stay away. He probably won't,
Yeah,
but he's
I
probably going to go
know.
over,
I
and he's going to
know.
be really mad at Ulf and at Hugh because if they would have been there, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Well,
It's hard to say. I mean, Vagar's pretty big. Like, how much damage
she's
can
old
she
though.
do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my prediction is that this relationship between Aemon and Alice is going to move somewhere that maybe we don't. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think she's quietly becoming one of the most interesting wild cards in the show because Damon just dismissed her, and by the end of the episode, Aemon needs her, and what is that going to do? So I think it's going to shift her importance here. So it'll be interesting to see. And what happens with Alicent? Like
Hmm.
what's her reaction? And I don't know that she has any power to do anything, but um, is she going to be in support, not support? Like how is that going to end up moving forward? So
I don't
that'll
think
be
she's going to be
interesting.
happy.
Yeah. All right. Question of the day. We are circling back to the question of the day, and that is: has a setback or loss ever pushed you to take action that led to something better?
Yeah, 100%. But it's not like one big thing. It's kind of like little small things. Like like after my parents and all that stuff, I decided that life's too short. And if there's something that I think would like bring me joy and it's not hurting anybody else and it's just me or my husband or whatever, like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna like try and see if I can do it because like life's too short not to just try things, like
Yeah.
food or activities or whatever. Like I'm not artistic at all. Like I hate it. I just get like anxiety about it, but I'm trying to get better at it. So there's a
Yeah.
brewery that's by us and they were hosting like a bunch of like a bunch of different like themed like crafting nights.
Uh-huh.
And so like I would take my husband or like my friends and we would go have like a beer or two and then create some stuff and like my anxiety was there, but I just tried not to care about it and just made a thing that I liked, and it worked. And like we did a whole bunch of them, and I think we'll do them whenever they come back. And I think that's 100% because of like that huge loss, and
Right.
like
Yeah.
the what ifs with them was like I don't want any what ifs anywhere else,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I love it. And yeah, we've talked about that before, but it's okay because it's a part of us, and we carry that with us, right? And it makes us stronger. See, that's the biggest thing. It makes us stronger. And I would say yes. I found that when I have a setback or a loss, that I bring it with me too. Yes, it's okay to wallow in stuff because
Yeah.
stuff happens. Shit happens, man. You just gotta, go through, just like Rhaenyra did her grief, right? And then she's got to kind of pull up her bootstraps and move forward. And so, I find that when I'm like backed into a corner, that I become very resourceful. Like I start being like, like maybe things that you felt like you don't feel confident in, right? That you can't do them. But then all of a sudden now it's like, I'm going full force because I need to survive. I need to move forward. And this is what I need to do. And just like this podcast, when Brittany joined me originally and we did our first 33 episodes, and then she's like, well, I need to move on. And it was like closing up shop, and I'm like, wait, I'm not done. I'm not done. What do I do? And then I did it again, and Brooke joined me, and they've been amazing, co-hosts. But when she left, I really thought I was going to have to close up shop. And I thought, I am not done talking about TV and movies, and I need to go out of my comfort zone and ask other people to see if they will join me. And that's where Diana and Friends, within Screens of Focus started. And it's where like you came in and Renee came in, and so many great people that I've been able to podcast with. And I would not be able to do any of that without all of you guys. But at the same time, if I just like closed up shop and never did it again, then I would never have these experiences that I have with you and with everybody. And earlier today, I was thinking that these relationships are so important because you know me sometimes better than other people know me because we talk about things like this.
Yeah.
Right. And when we talk about characters, in those characters, it brings out who our personalities are, how we feel about certain things, how we feel about television or people or politics in a way, not specifically politics, but you know what I mean? Like it just brings up how we feel about certain things. And so we get to know each other. And so I think, and I love everything, connections that I make with other people and friends that I make, true good friends. And so I think that this has been a gift, even though I felt like it was a setback and I thought, what the heck am I going to do? So, but I think, I'm sorry that was a long answer, everybody, but that is my
it's
true
beautiful.
answer. Anyway, friends out there, we would love for you to answer this question of the day. And has a setback or a loss ever pushed you to take action that led to something better? If you have an answer, list it here wherever you're watching us, listening to us. You can go over to screensandfocus.com, get to all of our social media, click on there, leave it there. You can even call us if you would like to. We'd love to hear your voice. You can reach us at 669-223-8542 and leave us a message there. You can even talk about this episode, anything you want to bring up or remind us, or if we have something wrong, we would love to hear that too. That's a wrap up of House of the Dragon season 3, episode 2. Come back next week. We're here every week to break it down, but don't leave us yet. We have TV and movie recommendations. So Sam, please share with us what you've been watching.
I've been watching The Bear. And then because you recommended it, I started watching I Will Find You. It's weird, kind of. Not weird. I've only watched one episode and I was like, yeah, I know. I was just, I don't know, but I'm gonna keep watching it. Like I really enjoyed it. And then for movies, I watched. It's called Heart Eyes. It's on Netflix. It's a horror movie that came out last year.
Oh,
and it's just turn your brain off, but it is fun. Like it was very dumb, but I had a really good time watching it because like it's wild. We'll just say that, but really enjoyable. And then here comes like my sad documentary corner. There's one called The Murder of Rachel Nickell, and that's on Netflix. And it is It is a fantastic, just like how the documentary like is just really good, and the guys who are in it are some of like the, I don't even know. You just like you feel for them. Like they seem such like a genuine. They're just so kind, and it was a tragedy.
Aw.
Highly recommend that though. And there's also on Netflix not a dramatization, but like a TV series about it with like
Okay.
actors. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know. It's
Cool.
just on Netflix, so yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
hmm
for shows, I have. Oh, go ahead.
No,
What are you gonna say?
I was.
Oh,
I'm
reacting to
excited.
me?
Yeah, I was excited about you talking about the bear.
Well, I was going to say The Bear also. I'm watching the final season Hulu, and I will tell you that Renee is going to join me, and we are covering this, and we'll release an episode next week. So anybody else that's watching The Bear, check that out. She has joined me for previous seasons, so I'm so glad that we are going to be talking about this. So I don't want to divulge too much yet. So we'll talk more about it maybe next week. And then from finale, and I cannot wait for you, Sam, to ever catch up on this. I really think you're going to enjoy this.
Mhm.
And I have joined Squawking Dead from time to time on the season, and I am jumping in on the finale this week. So look for Squawking Dead because we are covering that, and that's a lot of fun. And as far as movies, I watched a movie last night called Overtone. It's on HBO, and it is a horror film, and it is about a podcaster, and they basically do some like horror, scary things happening, and it's a sound horror. And what I mean by sound horror, so you understand, her and her podcaster friend, who he's in London, I believe, or somewhere else, and they are podcasting. And he says they got an email. I'm not giving too much away. They get an email, and they've been given these 10 audio bites, and so they start to take the audio bites and listen to them. And she's a skeptic, he is not, and it goes from there. And she's also taking care of her ailing mother and finds some things along the way. And the reason it's considered an audio horror because it's, as they're listening to these audio, they're listening to it, and there's things going on in her own house that have to do with like what she hears, noises and songs and sayings and so forth. So I'm going to leave you with that. It was pretty good. It got pretty good ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. So if you're looking for a horror film, check it out on HBO. You can also go on to my YouTube at Screens in Focus, TikTok, and YouTube for more TV and movie recommendations. Sam, as always, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me as always.
I love it. I don't know
too.
what I'd do without you being here.
I couldn't wait. I was gonna text you. I was watching it on Sunday.
Please.
Well, it's over. Oh no, I got confused for a second. I always think that you're ahead of me, but I'm ahead of you.
Well, you can give me a non-spoiler reaction, or Monday, yeah.
I can just
before we record. I know you did say this one's so good.
I know.
So it was really good. All right, friends out there, we are so glad that you joined us. Thanks for joining us. We hope we gave you some insight, a chuckle, some inspiration, something to think about. Please subscribe to Screens in Focus, and even more so, please share this podcast with a friend. We would love that. And just remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.